how can technology be an aid in creating greater human connectedness and relationships, according to you?
Well, I think technology, especially digital media, can be very useful for building empathy with other people. Digital media, when it works well, when it disseminates well, is about storytelling. And so much of that storytelling can involve hearing about the quality of life at the other end of the planet, how your friends and family are doing, how the other end of the country is doing, um, and and I think some of that storytelling, for it to be effective, often involves learning about other kinds of communities from the ones we live in, other kinds of people, other kinds of families. And so technology is a very important part of how we create empathy with others today.
Yeah, no, and I agree, and it certainly should, right? Um, we're filming this in 2020. This is a time in which the use of certain platforms is more important than ever, right? I mean, especially just a personal case example as myself. Many people know that I'm originally from the U.S. I live in Mexico City, and a lot of my way of having to relate to my family and speak to them, and is all via Zoom. And I know I can't go there for a while, and
That's right. For many of us, our entire relationships are digitally mediated now.
right now, and I think we have been thrust into a new paradigm of how we have to get maybe used to expressing certain feelings, certain emotions, certain connectiveness through these platforms. Yeah, because in person seems not an option now and for a while. So do you think that that role is just going to be so much more augmented? I mean, going forward, I refer to that like we're almost forced to do this now in a certain way. But do you think in a way as well that we're going to have to really understand certain augmentations of technology going forward to relate to each other? Do you see that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think technology now mediates our many work relationships, and it mediates many personal relationships, family relationships. So, an important part of many people's lives is working, right? Especially if we have a job we enjoy. Now, if our employer tells us we should stay at home and the workplace is not safe, all of our meetings go online. We end up in meetings all day that are all virtual. And I think the research shows that the digital media does involve reduced social cues, right? We miss out on verbal tics, hand gestures. We miss out on the nuances of facial expression, and digital media can reproduce more and more of that. Right? Especially augmented digital media can capture a lot of that good stuff, but it's always a sliver away from face-to-face interaction. And this is important because either at work or at home or with family, there are always sensitive topics and difficult conversations to have. And I think it's often important to have difficult conversations face to face, because those extra cues, those sense of those things we pick up from each other, those relationships, when they get strained, it's hard to negotiate by email. It's hard to negotiate over chat, and it's hard to negotiate by video.
But do you think at the same time that we avoid certain confrontations by not seeing each other in person in a certain way?
Yes, I suppose that's a great point too. I mean, we delay things. Sometimes we don't. Probably as humans, we don't look. Very few of us actually look for confrontation. So if we don't have to deal with something, or we can quickly get off the call and not address the difficult topic, we may be more likely to use technology as a crutch, right, to hide behind, so that we don't have to have that difficult conversation.
Yeah, I mean, it can go both ways, I guess, in a certain aspect.